The fitness industry has lied to you about consistency. See, most women are not struggling to stay consistent because they're lazy or they're unmotivated. They're struggling because they're trying to build results inside of real life. And most workout plans, truthfully, aren't designed for that. What do I mean? Well, you're juggling stress, work, responsibilities at home, children, low energy, hormones, and you're trying to take care of yourself in the midst of all that. And then when you log on to social media and you look at that woman who's being consistent every day, who has help, who has more support, who has more flexibility, who has more recovery and space to make fitness a priority. And you get to thinking, why is it so easy for them? What am I doing wrong? Right? Like it's personal. Why do I keep restarting? But this goes beyond a discipline problem. This is a design problem. Now, in my previous videos, I talked about how the fitness industry gives advice to women that sounds good on paper, but falls apart in real life. And one of the biggest lies that is being pushed is this idea that consistency is just about trying harder. Because when you're talking to a woman that's already overwhelmed and you're saying just become more disciplined, that's not helpful. It's actually dismissive. Here's what is actually happening. Most women are trying to follow plans that are just too rigid, too intense, too random, and they're completely disconnected from real life. And they're not just stuck in survival mode, but they're guessing. Am I doing too much? Am I doing enough? Should I start over? Should I push harder? Should I rest? Should I reset? And when you are already mentally overloaded and overwhelmed, this just becomes exhausting. And honestly, this is why I created the SIS system, the stress integrated strength system, because I know what it's like to be carrying real stress, real responsibilities, and to be told to train like my life is light. I needed a method built around structured progression that takes stress, energy, and real life into account. Something that I could stay consistent with so I can get out of the cycle of restarting. So, what actually works is structure, not punishment, not guilt, not all or nothing thinking. Structure. See, what you need is a plan that builds on itself week by week, one that gives your body a reason to adapt, and one that actually works with your actual life. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're training lower body this week. Well, most people go into the gym and they select random weights, right? So this week you opt for 20. Next week it might be 15 pounds. And on a good week, you might get 25, 30 pounds. But that's not progression, that's guessing. See, on a structured plan, it looks completely different. So on week one, yes, you might opt for 20 pounds for 10 reps. On week two, you use the same weight, but we increase the rep range. So instead of doing 10 reps, we do 12. On the third week, you increase the weight by 20 pounds. Now your body has a reason to adapt. This is exactly what the SIS system is built on. Structured progression that adapts with your stress and energy. So your actual plan works with your life, not against it. Listen, we know consistency is not about having unlimited time or support or energy, right? But it is about having a system that works with your real life. when your workouts actually match your schedule, and I mean like 3 solid days that you know you can sustain versus five five sessions a week that feel like you are failing to maintain, well, consistency finally starts to click. So, in this series, I'm breaking down how to train in a way that actually works with your real life. Not smarter, not harder, but realistically and more sustainably. Sustainably. I think that's a word. But I recommend starting with the first video in the playlist because once you have an understanding of how the foundation works, everything else starts to make sense. Now, if you're like me and you're actually tired of starting over and you're ready to build structure that actually works with your real life, my 7-day reset is linked below. Start there.